Hey, it's Insane Gamers, and today I will be showing you how to make a legit Pokemon on pokeSav ready for random Wi-Fi. So as you all know, I use pokeSav because it's easy and I don't have time to breed. And as you all know, Pokemon Black and White, Nintendo were like, you can't do that. So anyway, I'm going to show you how to make it completely legit so it can't go on Wi-Fi. And as you all know, I upload Wi-Fi battles, so let's see, where's my save file? There it is. This is my, you may notice the team. Here's the team. You know, the one that I've been using lately. These Pokemon are all pokeSaved here. And there's Excadrill, and Azumarill, and Abomasnow, and Hariyama, and Shandera. Anyway, these other guys down here are all Pokemon that I've failed at. You know, I've been doing a lot of experimenting lately. And here's a new strategy I'm thinking of. I won't reveal what it is yet. Anyway, let's just take a quick look at my Trick Room starter here, the Beehive, or the Beehive thing. So, you may notice it has to have, obviously, everything has to be legit. It can't be, you know, you can't give it some ridiculous ability. My game is a Japanese game, so I have it in Japan. Obviously, it's Pokemon Black. I have it set as an egg. Legit stats and IVs there. Attacks it can get, obviously. And there's all my trainer information. Of course, I'm not female, but that's the gender of the original trainer. Don't know why that's on female, but whatever, it still goes online. So, anyhow, for the purposes of this, I guess I'm going to make an Ambipom. So let's go ahead and just set that guy right there. In fact, you know what? Let's delete that and start over again. Load. Come on, Black. Okay. Load. Pokemon Black. Okay, apparently I can't start over. But that doesn't matter. We can easily just clear everything out. So anyway, let's make an Ambipom, because that's obviously my favorite Pokemon. So first of all, I'm gonna go in here. Don't worry about this, PID. Don't even look at it yet. Don't even think about it until you've done everything else, okay? So anyway, first things first, choose the Pokemon you want, Ambipom, okay? Now, let's give it a nickname. I'll call it, hold on, Ambipimp. And if you're giving it a nickname, make sure you have this checked, because otherwise it'll screw up. Okay, obviously level 100, you can make it any level. 52, it doesn't really matter as long as it's between 1 and 100. The nature, Ambipom, let's make it jolly. And its held item, let's give it a normal jewel. Now, the item is, well, like I said, it's pretty important. It doesn't really affect how legit the Pokemon is, but be aware, you can't have Soul Dew, you can't have Light Ball, you can't have any Pinch Berries yet, okay? So we want a normal jewel, normal gem, whatever. Happiness, anywhere from 1 to 255. I'm just going to leave it at 108. Ability, now here's the one thing. You can't go giving a freaking Ambipom Hyper Cutter or Marvel Scale or Hydration or Intimidate. It's got to be something it can get, and if its Dream Mode ability isn't yet released, it can't get it. I'm going to give it Technician because we all know it can get Technician. That's what it's famous for, so there it is. Now, if you're starting off with a new Pokemon, these two will be blank, or they might be filled in with something else, depending on what country your game is from. Mine is a Japanese ROM, so mine has to be on Japan, and it's from Pokemon Black. Now, you're going to notice other, options here. If it's a Pokemon traded over from Platinum, then obviously you would hit Platinum, but I'm still experimenting with that, so for now we'll just stick to Pokemon bred in Black, or White, which is how you're going to want to do it. It works. Ignore this will make it an egg in game. Nah, Pokerus, you don't need that. It'll just mess up if you do that, so I wouldn't recommend giving it any of those. Anyway, so there's our first page. It looks pretty good here, except for this, but of course I said we're going to ignore that. Now we'll go to the next tab over, Met. So this is the game in which the Pokemon was met, obviously Black and White, because we hatched it. Now the location is extremely important. It has to be correct. If you have a wild encounter, it has to be at the right place. But I recommend, if it can be bred, you want it to say Daycare Couple, because that's obviously where you get the eggs. Caught in a Pokeball, of course, because when you hatch a Pokemon, it comes in a Pokeball at level 1. The date doesn't really matter for it being legit, and since we're calling it an egg, you have to have Egg, Pal Park, event honeytree/shaman selected. Ignore this, don't check that. And then here's a little thing that says as egg. This will mean that you hatched it as an egg. And these are the hatch conditions. So it hatched in black and white. The location could be anywhere. Doesn't really matter. I have route 2 and the date it hatched. Once again, has to be after the date you found it. But that's about it. So this page is looking pretty good. If you have this page look just like this, you're good for how you've found the Pokemon. Anyway, on to the next one. Stats. Obviously, you can have all 31 IVs if you want. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change all IVs to 31, which is all perfect. And I'm going to change all EVs to 0. Okay? So, we want 252 attack and 252 speed. Obviously, if you give it more than 510, it's not going to let it online. And just leave the IVs how they are for now. We'll deal with them later. So that's about it for this page. Give it all 31. Give it the EVs you want. EV spread, whatever. If you want a specific hidden power, we can deal with that a little bit later. So for now, just make it all 31 and 252 for 252. Don't worry about any of this. Trust me, don't worry about it. If you've made an EV spread, that's all you do. So now we want attacks. So my Ambipom, why don't we make it a Claw Sharpen set? Because Claw Sharpen's a pretty cool move. So, or Hone Claws, I guess it's called. So, let's see here. Obviously, I can't give an Ambipom Judgment and expect it to go online because it is not going to work. It has to be legit. Now, one thing you have to do when coming up with sets of Pokemon, let me just open up my internet here. This is a website called Bulbapedia. It is extremely awesome. So I can type in Ambipom here, and it'll bring me to a page, obviously all about Ambipom. It loads pretty slowly. Say all about Ambipom, and it'll show me all the stats, all the moves. Here we go. All the moves it can get via leveling up, via TM, and via breeding. So you have to make sure that the movesets are legit. You can't have a 4th gen move and a 5th gen bred move, or you can't have, 2 moves that it can't get together or anything like that, because it's not going to work. So let me just close that out. Make sure you do your research before doing the moveset. So I'm going to give it Fake Out, because... Oh wait, no, never mind. This is a Hone Claw set. Never mind. You can give it Fake Out, but if you give it Fake Out, you can't have any other bred moves, unless, of course, it's legal with it. So anyway, where is it? Hone Claws. This is a TM move. You can have as many TN... Horn Attack. See, that's the kind of stuff that can make it bad. So Hone Claws, double hit, which it learns by leveling up. Well, it does as an Apom, so it'll get it. It'll be legal. Double hit. Low kick, I would give it. But that's a 4th gen tutor move, and this is a Pokemon born in the 5th gen, so we can't have that. It won't be legal. So instead, let's give it Aerial Ace, because that, once again, is a TM. Once again, I'm not really... This isn't a moveset for strategy or anything. I'm just coming up with some arbitrary moves just to show you how this is done. So, just for the sake of making it quick, we'll give it U-turn. Once again, it's a TM move, so it'll be able to get that. In fact, I'm fairly sure it's a TM move in the 5th gen. Yeah. Anyway, so there we go. We got Hone Claws, double hit, Aerial Ace, U-turn. PP ups if you want it to have max PP. I don't typically do that. So anyway, here we go. We got information about the Pokemon. Obviously, if you want the game to recognize it as your Pokemon, it has to have your ID and your secret ID and your name. Okay? So you can easily find that by looking at any other Pokemon that you've caught legitimately and copying and pasting it over. If you have a shiny Pokemon, which is really hard to get the PID for, which we'll get to in a minute, you're going to want to click that. But I haven't played around with that much yet, so I'm not really an expert on the shiny thing. So maybe I'll update this video eventually showing that. But for now, I'm just going to leave that alone. If you want to research it, I guess you can look on GameFAQs or just search in Google. Markers in the PC, ribbons if you wanted to have ribbons. I don't really care, it doesn't matter. It's easier just to do it how I am because this works. Anyway, we're looking good here. We've got a good nature, we got good everything, met in the right places, good stats there, good EV spread that isn't over 510, all legitimate moves, and there's our trainer information. So now we're going on to this number. This is called the PID, and every single Pokemon has a number, and the PID basically tells the game the nature, the IV, is the type of Pokemon, the ability, the gender, all that stuff. And the game looks at the Pokemon, and looks at the PID, and if they don't match up, they won't be legal online. So we'll just look at this screen. This can get a little bit confusing here, so I'll just explain how this works. Right here, the first thing you should go to is if it's shiny. Now, if it's got this block, it'll give you your PID for shiny and normal. If it's empty, it'll give you the PID if it wasn't shiny, and if it's ticked, it will give you only the shiny PID. I don't want to find the shiny PID since my Pokemon isn't shiny. Okay? This right here is the way in which it generates the PID. 1 is for any 4th generation Pokemon. Obviously, there's the change shiny at the bottom. There's 10 and 11, which are for event Pokemon. And number 1, number 1 is for all 4th gen. Number 2 through 9 are, I'm not really sure, but what I always use is 5. I found that 5 works for me, so that's what I use. I mean, you could play around with it if you wanted to, but I find that 5 works, so I just do that. This area, when you find a PID, it will actually change some IVs to make it legitimate. So here you can dictate what IVs you want it to change. I do not want it to change speed or attack. Any other IV is fair game. You can change how much it changes it. Typically, just put an equal sign on the ones that you want. If you have a sweeper, obviously you value speed, and whatever attack and walls, you value HP and defenses. Anyway, if you want a hidden power, you check that, and you get your type, and you say you want it less than 70 or equal to 70, but of course I'm not looking for a specific hidden power, but if you wanted one, that's how you would get it. Now, we've got all our stuff filled in here. We hit search, and there's our PID. Jolly, male, ability 1, not shiny, there's our PID, and there's the method it was found. So just click on it, highlight it, and hit OK. And last but not least, right click and hit set, and there's our Ambipom. So if I click away and click back, you see there are all of his stats, all of his good stuff. So this Pokemon should, in theory, be 100% legitimate and ready to go online. So if I compare it to this, let's see, daycare couple, bang, bang. They are identical. Stats, attacks obviously won't be this identical, except for, of course, for the trainer thing. But, whatever. We can just, for the sake of making it look the same, we'll just make it identical. So yeah, that's how you legitimately Pokesalve a Pokemon for Wi-Fi. Well, pokeGEN anyway. So if you guys have any questions, just leave a comment. I know it's kind of complicated. If you need to, just rewatch the video and whatnot. But as I said, if you have any questions, just leave a comment or send a YouTube PM, and I'll see if I can answer it for you. Hope this helps, and I will see you guys next time.